going to kind of start us off with the streetscape and kind of the concepts that have already been done, what we're looking forward to coming up in the future here at 3rd, Railroad, and then 2nd and 4th. So he's going to kind of recap that. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight and hearing about streetscape bid, and then kind of we'll tie it up with the window art contest that will be kicking off tomorrow, and do some tours. Don will kind of touch base on what's happening in this building. So I'll give it over to Joe here.
Super.
All right. Like Ashley said, my name is Joe Schrader. I work for the City of Mitchell. I'm the Public Works Director. And we'll just dive right in. Tonight, some of the things I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about the timeline of the Main Street streetscape, Corn Palace Plaza phases 1 and 2, 5th and Main streetscape, 3rd and Main streetscape, the 4th and 2nd Avenue streetscapes, as long as the Railroad Avenue streetscape. Kind of where all of this stemmed from, started back in 2009, Focus 2020 started the Main Street cleanup conversation. In 2013, Mitchell Main Street and Beyond completed the design handbook on streetscape. In 2017, there were public input sessions for the plaza phases 1 and 2. And at that same time, the city also developed their branding. In 2018, the city passes the ordinance for bid number 3. Ashley's going to touch on that a little more later. And then 2019, they did Forward 2040. I see a lot of people in here that were involved with that process, but just so people know, Focus 2020 and Forward 2040 provided insights on the community's needs and wants moving forward. So basically, they involved the community, asked a lot of questions. Some of the items they touched on look at city amenities, aesthetics, economic opportunities, the schools, wellness and health, housing, recreation, entertainment, and those types of things to get what the community feels is going on. As part of the Forward 2040, some of the biggest, what people saw as the biggest threats to Mitchell, number 1 was the concern of downtown decay or Main Street deterioration, and number 2 was Lake Mitchell. So jumping into Plaza Phase 1, design team was SPN and Associates and Confluence, a landscape architect out of Sioux Falls. Project was bid in April of 2017 and completed in October of 17. Here is what, it's funny when I look back at these pictures, it's hard to remember what it looked like before. So up here it shows, you're standing in the 6th Street intersection looking north, as you can see the Corn Palace there, as well as looking to the east at 6th Avenue that's now closed. You can see the asphalt's not in great condition, and it's just, it's a sea of concrete, a sea of hard surfaces. So this is the plan sheet that shows the improvements. So as phase 1, they closed 6. They included the raised pedestrian crossing at the Corn Palace, or the speed bump as everyone knows it. Main Street narrowed just north of 6, which also included, it's narrowing, it's not necessarily bump outs, but it would be bump outs into all 4 intersections of 6th and Main. And then beautification enhancements with greenery. So this is a look at the main feature of Plaza Phase 1. They incorporated the corn cob mural as well as the Corn Palace there. Some of the little things that they put into this project is, if you notice, the corn cobs, it's kind of hard to see from ways away, but the corn cob statue itself, what the corn is, actually is the same shape and form as the domes. So they incorporated some kind of cool features to tie everything together. In phase 2, again, the design team was SPN and Associates and Confluence. The project was bid in October of 19 and completed in September of 2020. The main aspects of this project included a shade structure as well as a stage. Threw in a few construction pictures on this one just because I'm an engineer and I think this stuff is cool. You know, the precision that they needed to do, they put the footings and the beams up prior to bringing the top of the shade structure in. So they assembled the shade structure separately and brought it and sat it on there with a crane, and it fit, surprisingly enough. Here's a picture of the finished shade structure. It also incorporates benches. There's a mister and some informational pieces that people can read as they're going through. If you ever look at the structure, the beams on top are natural, and that was meant by design by the landscape architect. The next other piece was the stage. Again, too, with that, the top of the stage structure, they assembled all that off-site. They put in the footings and the beams, and again, they sat that on there. Precision engineering, it worked, it fit. All the bolts were able to be tightened, and they were able to put it together. Here's the finished project. It is ADA accessible. Everything is. The corn cob on this one is actually made of rhino lining material that's painted. So that's another aspect that everyone might not know that's kind of special about this project. So at the end, when you show comparisons of what it looked like before and after, you can feel the new feeling on Main Street is more inviting. There's more greenery. It'll you know, people want to walk around and they want to investigate what's going on. Here's a look down 6. You can see all the greenery. You can see the flags in the background, along with the shade structure and the stage. In my opinion, it's a great improvement. Some other additions to that area, we improved what's now called the Corn Palace Plaza parking lot. Palace City Peddlers donated some bike loops that we could put in back there. We also did some landscape enhancements to tie everything together, where we were doing a drainage feature. So little things like that just to help tie everything together. And as the projects continued on, you're going to see this theme as we move down Main Street. 5th and Main Streetscape, that project was bid in March of 22 and completed November of 22. This was completed as a much larger project. We did improvements on 5th as well as 9th. And this included bump outs on 5th only. Some before and afters. So this would be the southeast corner. You can see we added some bike loops. There is the landscaping feature. All the landscaping features have electricity to those. So if anything ever wants to be added as far as anything you want to plug in, you can do that. This is the northeast quadrant. This is an area where you can actually add a sculpture at some point. They put in a concrete pad and have the ability to add a sculpture to this intersection. And they also added a bench. This would be the north-west quadrant. We worked with the property owner, Tara Valesky. She wanted to improve her courtyard area with our project, and we worked with her in order to accomplish those improvements that she wanted to do, and it turned out great. And this is the last quadrant, the southwest. This again, similar to the other corners. And that one you can see the enhanced trash can. If you get excited about those kind of things. 3rd and Main Streetscape. This is bid and scheduled for 24. This is considered an enhanced intersection, so we're doing bump outs in all 4 quadrants on Main Street, as well as the side street of 3rd. And on this one, we kind of get to incorporate some cool things because of the properties that are around the area. There is a seat wall that will be incorporated on the southeast quadrant next to a private park. There'll also be, they have some room there for some bike loops and those types of things, just keep it inviting for people, the people that want to come and walk and look and potentially rest for a little bit. There's, on the intersection shown here, on the quadrants, we're doing large planters. Then kind of another cool feature, just across the street here, we're working with the developer, Don Dahl, in order to incorporate our theme of the streetscape into his parking lot. He's been working with us with that in order to get those accomplished. And it's a fun project to see, you know, private developers coming together and wanting to participate in the city and our vision moving forward. 4th and 2nd Avenues, very similar to 5th, just bump outs into the side street. I didn't say this earlier, the reason that we do bump outs, it's called traffic calming. It makes people slow down, you bring the streets narrower, it makes you uncomfortable to a point where you reduce your speed to where you feel comfortable. It gives the pedestrians less street to cross, so it's a safety thing. Then the last intersection is Railroad Avenue. Railroad initially did not have a concept plan because it wasn't included in the original plan. Council added it, and Confluence put together a few plans for us to look at. As you can see now, it's a lot of hard surfacing. There's a lot of city parking lots in that area. And the end of that, at the depot, is just a dead-end street. So this is the concept plan that Confluence came up with that was chosen to move forward with. It eliminates the dead end. It makes a T intersection. Definitely a lot more green space, a lot more inviting. We're looking at incorporating additional green spaces in our city parking lots as you're coming down. Just more inviting. Here's a close-up view. As you can see, there are improvements next to the depot. We've been working with the adjoining property owners at these locations. And the depot has expressed that they want to enhance their private property as well with our project. We'll coordinate that through the process with them so we can achieve that and have a good result when we're done. They've even offered to maintain the space, so that's a benefit to the city. So in this area, you know, there's the possibilities of doing additional events, similar like they do it at the plaza, at the Corn Palace. That's because there's going to be a lot of city parking lots in that area. With the green space, it just adds another layer of possibilities moving forward for events. And with that, my portion is done. I don't know if you want me to wait on questions, or I can answer some now. If anybody has any.
However you'd like to, maybe Kevin or Matt.
It's nice to see.
If there's no questions, I'll turn it over to Ashley. Thank you.
All right, so yeah, Joe did a great job of explaining kind of the streetscape and giving that history on there. And so now we came in, our organization, and figured out a way with this business improvement district on how we were going to raise funds to help with the streetscape plan. So the purpose is to create a mechanism for generating funds that will utilize to enhance Mitchell's historic core. Portion of the funds will be used for business facades and improvements, and the other portion is for the streetscape improvements and the features, the amenities. We did some research in some of the other local communities around our area that had seen a big increase in foot traffic because of these amenities and more walkable spaces and inviting. So we thought it would be a great way to incorporate a bid district in Mitchell. Whoop. I knew I'd do that. So we started off with just the Main Street businesses. So we have about 80 properties that contribute to the business improvement district, and it raises about $45,000 annually into that bid fund. So the boundary is all the way north 7th Street and then heading south to the depot. So that is our full boundary area. So you're probably wondering how are funds raised. So the special assessment is a special tax of $5 per $1,000 of of your most recent City of Mitchell real property tax. And the minimum is 120 that's paid in annually, or 3,000. So the property, based on its assessment, that's how they're calculated to pay into the bin tax of those 80 properties. So just a quick example, if you have assessed property at $75,000, you'd pay about $375 into the tax per year. So applications, who's eligible and kind of how that process works. So we have 7 board members that are appointed by our mayor that review applications 2 times a year. And then the businesses that are within that property are the ones who are eligible. So if they're current and up to date on their property or their bid cess attachment, they're eligible to apply for bid grant dollars. The process is mostly for like exterior things, so like facades, awnings, windows, lighting, structural things, tuck pointing, brickwork. And then they submit those applications, usually February and August, we accept those. So here's just kind of a quick little recap of what we have already brought in for dollars. $218,104 in the bid property tax. Now half of those dollars are for streetscape amenities, the benches, the bike racks, the sculptures, that kind of stuff, and then the other half is for grants. We've awarded out $121,000 in 25 different grants. It is in effect for 7 years, so it started in 2018, and we'll have a few more years with the following here streetscape plans to kind of finish up the 3rd, 2, 4, and railroad. Here's just a kind of a little quick recap, some of the milestones. So it was established in 2018. In 2020, we had the 6th and Main Plaza space done for the streetscape plan. 5th and Main was completed completely in 2023, with the exception of still getting our sculpture there. We have the pad and the electrical to bring in some lighting for the sculpture when it arrives. In 2024, we will get 3rd and Main constructed, and then in 2025 will be our final proposal of Railroad 2 and 4. Here are just a few of the enhancements a little bit closer. We had Mitchell Technical College design and fabricate some bike racks for us that are cohesive. Those will be, they're up kind of by the chamber office. We have some there in that little courtyard. And then we have at 5th, there'll be some at 3rd and Railroad. So they'll all have their own special design that have already been made. And then the window art contest, that really enhanced the 5th and Main building. And then of course our bench and future sculpture pad there. And then here are just some of the before and afters of some of our bid grant fund dollars and those who have received some funds. So this is the Main Street Mercantile. You can see they're pretty self-explanatory on some of those before and afters, but some brickwork took off those caps off the top, new windows, new lighting. So kind of a complete facelift there. This one here is the Tara Velasquez property at 5th and Main. She had some enhancement to her stucco, awning, and then like Joe had said, when we came in to do the streetscape portion with concrete, she did her own private enhancement to the concrete there. The Brown Shoe Fit building, so this had actually 2 different projects. One was a window project, taking the windows from single pane to double pane, and then a tuck pointing project for the whole building. So I know it's a little hard to see, but like the top of the before photos, they cleaned up all of that brickwork, the tan up there looks much more enhanced and revitalized that part of the building too. The collective building, that one there had new front doors, awning removes, the siding, windows. The old Charities building, now it's the supermarket. That building there, the awning was removed and then windows put in the front of the building. and that had some roof repairs to it as well. It's Pet World, roof repairs, and then the front, you can see it well in the, after the brickwork, the front of the old before was just kind of a black solid, so it kind of brightens it up a little bit more. Charlie's, shoe repair, new awning, siding, kind of brighten that building up as well. This across the street, this is at, the corner of Second and Main, this was a roof repair. And then here at First and Main, this was a tuck point project. So, as you know, most of the buildings, helping with those repairs, tuck point, roofs, brickwork are all vital to keeping the building structure and keeping that historic downtown. So it's very important to utilize those dollars to help enhance the buildings and also to enhance our public amenities and for that streetscape portion, to make it more inviting, more for the community as well. So that is kind of all I have for bid at this point. I will turn it over to Don. Of course, if there's more questions about kind of the bid, or if you had anything after looking at the slides, feel free afterward to catch any of us, Joe as well. But I'm gonna let Don kind of just talk about the buildings a little bit more that you're working on, and then we will touch base on the window bar project, and then we'll do some tours if anybody's interested.
Hi, my name's Don Dahl.
Oh, you want me to do this one?
Yeah, you can do that.
Sure.
I'm not too good at driving. I'm the general contractor on the project here. Several years back, one of my major clients back in California decided he wanted to come look at some property here in Mitchell, South Dakota. So he asked me to come with him, and we came and looked around at a lot of properties, showed me what he talked to me about what he was thinking, what he'd like to do about getting out of California. I told him, I said, well, I don't know, looks like a lot of work to me, but yet here we are. So that's kind of the story of how I got here. This building here, we actually looked at the Cherry Beach. I don't think we have a slide on that one. We actually looked at the Cherry Beach building first, and that was our first project here. Created 5 apartments upstairs and brought
There we go.
some things back into the front.
That one, and then this one.
Yeah, those the apartments we did up there. This building came second. We had looked at this building before, toured it with the city several times. I told Mr. Adamo at that time that I didn't think it was well worth doing, but he convinced me otherwise and brought me here. We've approached this building with the concept of not bringing everything back to a new standard or a new quality. We just want to enhance what's here. We want to preserve the historical integrity. We've gone through, and as you walk through the building, you'll be able to see some of this. On the main corridor, we've restored the metal ceiling was all rusted, so we've restored that. We're restoring the skylights in that area. We've added a new elevator here. We've added a fire escape stairwell back here in the back. We've had to completely redo all the infrastructure. You can see here where we've had all new plumbing put in, new fire sprinklers throughout the whole building. So the building is completely self-contained. All the heat, air, everything is all up to date and brand new. The only thing that you'll notice as you walk through the building, you'll be able to see various levels of construction. So we are currently leasing apartments on the second floor. We have 3 tenants already. So if you walk through tonight, you are free to go into any room where the door is open and look. Don't cross the crossing tape, and don't disturb the tenants. So there's a sign on their doors. What else we got here? Oh,
Just kind of parking lot.
yeah, we, as part of the negotiations on this particular building, we have the parking lot over here. We figure that by the time we're done in Mitchell, Mr. Adamo now has about 8 to 9 properties here. We'll have quite a few people living downtown. And one of the concerns was that we would be bringing a lot of cars into downtown, and there's already a parking So we have this parking space over here, which would be for our people, and that way, you know, presumably we can give the city 100 parking spots by keeping our cars off the road.
Good.
So that's kind of the thought there. And then we have this design here where, as Joe had referred to, we wanted to accent what the city's doing. So we're 100% into making Mitchell a fine place to live, you know, and welcoming. That's the big thing. We have that one there. We have the building there at First and Main as well. We're looking at fixing the glass issue there, where the red glass keeps falling off and breaking. You can't find the red glass anywhere, so we're exploring options as to what we can do with that stucco and glass to make it look a little bit better down on that corner. What else we got?
Just kind of decorate the apartments and then that's it.
Yeah, so if there's any questions, I'd like to introduce to you, one of the things here with Marcello O'Donnell. This is John's son, the owner's son here.
Yeah.
He's the leasing agent here, so if you like anything you see up there. There is a waiting list, so we have been taking names and, you know, we can start an application process right away. The other big thing that I'd like to announce today is that Mr. Adamo has a restaurant in California, and he owns a winery and it's a resort.
Yeah.
A resort winery in Italy as well. And one of the thoughts was to bring a restaurant here to Mitchell. And I met with Marcello's sister over this last week, and she runs the restaurant in California, and she has agreed that we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put an Italian restaurant in this area right here. In this So with that being said, we got quite a few people here. If you follow this hallway around, all right, before I could get too carried away here, I know that Elizabeth wants to talk about the art. When we leave out of here, you're more than welcome to walk out that door and just follow it around, or you can go around to the main door and come in. And there's a staircase here, the elevator is right inside there. There is a restroom right on the other side of this door as you go around. Okay?
Good.
And then if you need any questions from me, just holler. I'll be around either up there or down here or something.
Ooh, I don't know how I top that, so I'm going to make my part real quick and short. I am very excited to announce that we're going to be doing our second annual window art contest. It is a great partnership with the Mitchell Area Council of the Arts, Main Street and Beyond, and the Chamber of Commerce. The location, we are very excited to announce, it's going to be on the 3rd and Main building on the northeast corner there, the old Woolworth building. It's going to be 19 windows total being done, and the theme is literary inspirations. So we encourage artists to draw from the rich tapestry of literature in any form. So it can be digital, painted, photography, just let your imagination run wild. It's going to go through January 31st. And then we're going to have a board come together and vote on their 19 best fitted description that fits Main Street. And then we're going to put it up, fingers crossed, May 2024, right here on 3rd and Main. So it's amazing to see everyone that came out to support our Main Street Informational meeting. We really do appreciate all the helping hands that make this possible. Now, as you're walking around, just remember safety. If there is caution tape, please don't cross it. It's for your safety as you go along. And thank you all for coming.
All right. Super.
So excited. So it goes on.
You can go all the way there.